Welcome back to the Dr. Aaron Hanger. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well today. And if you're not, hopefully this video cheers you up or makes you feel a little bit better and have a little bit of fun, because it's what collecting is all about, having fun. Today, I want to talk to you about YouTubers that are non-Transformers YouTubers, or people that don't usually talk about Transformers are now talking about Transformers. Now, it's not dominating their channels. It's not the only thing they talk about, but it's creeping in, and it really did surprise me. So a lot of these people I started watching simply because they talked about other things. Ghostbusters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Masters of the Universe. I wanted to learn about what's going on out there in those communities, and really, some of those don't even have really good reference sites that cover everything. And with that, I've noticed sometime last year they never talked about Transformers, and all of a sudden started talking about Transformers. So I'm going to get into what's going on here, and it's not really a shout out video. It's more of a I know why it's going on, and I'll tell you that at the end. Coming up. First off, I'm going to talk about JC, T9 News. Now, he's always covered Transformers, but there's a different shift here from what I'm seeing. And I think that it's kind of the same shift I have. I haven't really shifted. It's kind of the new focus I have, or the new lesser focus on other things. But he's in a different situation than I am, so we'll talk about that here in just a bit. But he's always talked about Transformer news, but I found out something really interesting about him. Now, JC, T9 News, is a great resource for all news, for all different toy lines. And I really, in my mind, I was thinking like he's more for like Marvel Legends, #1, and then G.I. Joe Classified, and Turtles, and stuff like that. But he's always kind of covered the news when it comes to Transformers. But then lately, he's been talking a little bit more about his interest in third-party and Masterpiece, but he doesn't ever cover Fans Toys news or X-Transbots news, any of that kind of stuff, because I think it's because he gets all this news from official sources, and if he's covering the third-party stuff in his news, then he's probably not going to get that news from Hasbro for Transformers anymore. That's my belief. Might be wrong. I might be wrong, but it's kind of exciting. It's kind of fun, and it's interesting that he's going the third-party route, that he's even talked about that, and that's kind of fun that he's into the Masterpiece stuff. Anyway, quick shameless plug over here. I mean, I'm just minding my own business. Shameless plug. TH support the reviewer code, but Big Load. I put a post in the community post, but they're up for pre-order again. They should be coming out in May. A lot of people said they wanted it. Speaking of the third party that Jay's into, and I really wish Jay would talk about third party stuff. I would have so much more fun with that, but I would skip completely past his Legends and go to his third party. Next on the list is Geek Dad Life, and I was shocked, because I think of him as like first Ghostbusters first, and then Turtles and He-Man, and right now the Motu stuff is keeping him busy. Like, he is seriously busy with this. Mega J Retro's seriously busy with Motu stuff and the Motuniverse thing that's going on that Mega J Retro's doing and all that kind of stuff. But I was shocked to see that he's starting to have a little Transformer segment in his is it Sunday? His Sunday news? And I remember last year he started saying, I don't know much about this, but let's talk about it. And then he brought people on that knew about it, and it's a little more fun and stuff. But I do get a kick out of hearing people talk about Transformers. I don't know anything about Transformers, but at the same time, I mean, do I really know everything about Transformers? Not really. But I have a theory that I'm pretty sure is true, why Transformer news is creeping into these YouTubers, and I'll talk about that. Of course, you know, I'm going to keep you on the hook for a little longer. All right, so there's this yes, have some podcasts. I told my buddy Tom, who is like big into everything, and he really loves the lore of all this stuff, about this podcast, and he busted out laughing. He said that is the best name for a Ghostbusters podcast. Yes, have Rick Moranis, Ghostbusters 2, I guess. Anyway, there's 3 or 4. Sometimes they have Ryan Dole, who is awesome, but he's up in Canada, and I don't know if they have internet that works or anything. Just kidding. He's a very busy guy. Very busy guy. Anyway, they are a Ghostbuster sort of kind of channel, and then they get into other things, turtles and all that kind of stuff. But kind of feel like Ghostbusters first, and then the other 253 toy lines second. All right, so now I gotta like promote their Cryptoids. It's only got a few days left, and this is the information you see on this is 2 days old, so they might be at 300,000 for all I know. But if you want to get on this really cool toy line, I think Abby wrote a lot of the backstories for a lot of this stuff, and then they've all worked together. They've all put work into this, a lot of work into it. Very impressive toy line, really cool stuff they got going on right there. And then they're making the Bat Boy. It's a kind of fun joke at the same time. It's coming to reality. It's fun. That's what toys are supposed to be, fun Cryptoids. But yeah, they're launching their own toy line. But why are they talking about Transformers? I was shocked when they started talking about Transformers. They pulled someone in to talk about Transformers, and I was surprised though. Pretty interesting stuff. And I was like, I've never heard them talk about Transformers before. Maybe it's a one-off, a 3-off. But yeah, I welcome it. I have no problems. More people talking about Transformers, the better. Then we get into 3POA. Now, I'll tell you this. 3POA, lots of drama. Well, I forget all the jokes about the guys, but there's drama. But I want to say this: there's also Transformers. They've introduced a Transformer segment, and they brought in this Talib 1980 collects. Is that what it's? This guy knows some Transformer stuff, and it's interesting. They seem to only want to stick to the Hasbro, which they're not Hasbros. they loathe the company Hasbro, but they only talk about. It's ironic. They only talk about Hasbro. They don't talk about the good stuff. You're not getting the good stuff, but maybe they will. Maybe we'll get the good stuff. Then maybe they'll talk about Fans Toys X Transpots, all those kinds of things pretty soon. I mean, they're not sponsored by any of these, Hasbro or Mattel or. I mean, what's left? What has not been consumed by Hasbro and Mattel? Jada, Jax. Okay. Anyway, the point is that these guys actually started talking about Transformers. And I never heard any of them ever talk about Transformers. I was like, what? I had to do a double take. Had to put down what I'm working on to actually pay attention. And they actually were talking about Transformers. So it was kind of cool, kind of fun. But why? Well, I'm going to keep you on that hook. I got more. There's more. Next up is Just Incredible, and he's talking about Transformers. I have a few things to say about this guy. First of all, he talks about being fiscally responsible in finance and all these tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff. I love that. I mean, that's my alter ego. That's really what my calling in the world is. But I have kind of disengaged with my super ultra cheapness, and to be honest, so has he. He's fiscally responsible, but he's not super ultra cheap. I used to be super ultra. I used to research a $5 purchase decision for my collection for 2 months. Gone are those days. But anyway, I think Just Incredible was a lot of fun. I first found out about him on Mega J Retro's channel, and the conversation was an amazing conversation. He was very dynamic, a lot of fun, a lot of great opinions and ideas, and willing to share, and wore his heart on his sleeve. So I think those are really great qualities. Again, this is not shout out time. This is just like how I even heard of Just Incredible, and so I sought his channel out and gave him a sub, and I'm very happy for that because he is doing a lot of great work on his channel. A really great guy, but he started talking more about Transformers. Now, why is he talking more about Transformers? Why is Just Incredible, that's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle guy, and some these other lines that is kind of we all kind of do that. We kind of put it in a bucket. All I hear him talk about is turtles. He likes the turtles. A little bit of other things there too, but he has actually come out and said Transformers is his number one focus right now, and he's more excited about Transformers. Why? Why is this? Why am I seeing this from all these other YouTubers that I specifically subscribed to find out other news other than Transformers? Well, I guess I've kept you on the hook long enough, I'll tell you. Transformers is absolutely awesome. The lore behind even just the G1 cartoon, the quality of the G1 cartoon, translating into, even though the G1 toys weren't great, we always wanted toys or just a representation in real life that matched that said amazing cartoon from back in the day. Whether it was the Daily Show, whether it was the 86 movie that made no sense, but at the same time captured everyone's imagination. Although third parties doing absolutely amazing stuff. And I like Masterpiece. I like the third party stuff. Takara's disengaged from Masterpiece for the most part. They've left their own baby to die. But guess what? They left it to thrive in the hands of capable companies like Fans Toys, Transplants, MNC, Fans Hobby, all of those. Magic Squares stepping up. And with that, these YouTubers, they know they love Transformers. Eventually they'll get into Masterpiece. They cover this Hasbro stuff, so we're getting this Hasbro news. But let me put this in perspective of me in 1996 when I started collecting Star Wars. It didn't even take me 6 months to just dawn. I love Transformers, and I was actually using my college computer lab to look up Transformers. Now, that was G1 stuff I wanted, and I longed for like modern representations of G1. It took a long time to finally get that, and now we're getting it. Now we are in the golden age, which is another whole video. We are in the golden age. How long will the golden age last? And I have an expiration date that I believe that's a whole other video. But what we're seeing right now with kind of the Hasbro stuff, most of these YouTubers cling to the Hasbro stuff, and I know why. I know exactly why. Because it's at least 20 times more people. 20 times more people collect the Hasbro stuff, buy the Hasbro stuff, due to the price point, availability, the ease of just walking into Walmart, Target, is Kmart, they still have 3 Kmarts left, and you could just get this stuff off the shelf, and it's easy. Not having to pre-order it, wait 3 years if it comes in, all that kind of stuff. Of course, if it's Show Z, it's a 100% guarantee, or your pre-order money back, and all that kind of stuff, And with that, like, all these people, none of them are experts. So let me give you an expert opinion about this. This is Soundwave, and I don't know what the heck's going on with the alt mode, so never mind. I can't explain it. But yeah, so the next thing is, like, it took people a long time. They collect other things and realize, hey, I love Transformers. I really do want to start collecting it and talking about it. And then that's why we're seeing some of these people come over. But the second reason is we're seeing a serious contraction in all the other toy lines. In fact, I think the only thing continually expanding is Transformers. Well, it's expanding for a lot of reasons, because there's a lot of other things, but there's blockies, there's so many different companies making them, all that kind of stuff. Think about Joe collectors. Joe collectors are over here, and they're like, I want a Serpentor. I can't get a Serpentor. I got my $300, and now everybody on eBay wants more than that. I saved up $300 for the last 6 months, and now here I am. Got to pay more than that, and that kind of sucks. And what options do you have? Well, Super 7 bailed on G.I. Joe. Super 7's doing 3.75 inch, but if 80% of your collection, if all you've done is collect the bigger figures, what are you going to do for a Serpentor? Now pay $400 or whatever the ridiculous price is now? Get the recolored option with a bare chest, and it's not going to be what you really want. Settle for that until they string you along, and down the road you finally get something close to what you really wanted, but you've given up on collecting. And I don't want to make Joe collecting sound bleak, but with Lenny leaving, the writing's on the wall. Joe collectors, and this is one toy line. Every single toy line, Tron couldn't get anything off the ground at all. You just name it. The Marvel Legends is still going somewhat strong, but I know less about Marvel Legends than all these people that I discussed know about Transformers. So let's just put that out there. I don't know anything about Marvel Legends, and I don't care to. But with all of that, all these toy lines are contracting, constricting, but at the same time, Transformers is expanding continually, all the time. And let me point this out. Is this why Lenny left? This might be the straw that broke Lenny's back on dealing with Hasbro and the pricing and all that stuff. He knows how this stuff works. Of course, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. This might not be why he left. Think about it. They don't have to even pay any sort of fees. Like with the Transformers, they don't have to pay any licensing, and they can do whatever they want. But at the same time, they keep raising the price. They keep raising prices on that too. But cost reducing this stuff and then charging double the price. So the big reason that I believe a lot of these people are pushing to talk about Transformer news, and in addition to what they already talked about, is because there's not much news out there for their toy lines. The toy lines they want aren't being satisfied news-wise. Like, we've got a 7-minute conversation on our toy line, and we could talk 20 minutes about Transformers. Oh, the Ghostbuster news this week is that this thing is going to eventually start shipping, but they pushed it back another month or two, but it'll eventually ship. And if you're a live streamer, and there's only so much you can do with like your little segments. Let me talk about Laser Pants, because I need to start a feud with him so I can gain 8,046 subscribers. I don't know where I got that number from, but that's why I got to start a feud with him. That's how it goes. Just kidding. The thing is, if you're live streaming and you're talking about news, and yeah, you talk about news, at a certain point, you run out of news. So that's like, you got 28 minutes of news, you live stream for 3 hours, and you're just, what are you going to do in there? Just talk trash about other people, or talk what other people talk trash about you, and all that kind of fun stuff. By the way, that's my feud with Laser Pants. Boom, got it. And the thing about all this is that Transformers, you could spend a lot of time talking about it because there's news every week, and they're not even getting into third-party stuff. As for me, I expand. I talk about more and more toy lines, not just Transformers, not just G.I. Joe, not just Star Wars, not just Labyrinth. Labyrinth's new, added to this. I'm going to be keeping up with that. RoboCop and all that stuff is going on. But these people are jumping on the Transformers bandwagon in a way, not just for views, but also because I truly believe they love the franchise. They love the Transformers. They're kind of normies. I need an Optimus Prime and a Megatron. Going much deeper than that, maybe I'll get a Soundwave and a Bumblebee and something else like that. But at the end of the day, Transformers is dominating, and that's what this video is about. Petty Hanger out.